Yeah, g'day. So if you've got an old turntable or you've picked up an old second-hand one and the auto stop and auto return function doesn't work, then this may be helpful to you. So I've picked up a couple of these old Japanese turntables, and the undersides of the platter on both of them seem pretty much the same. So hopefully that's a bit of commonality between a whole bunch of them. So this doesn't necessarily have to be specific to this brand. There is a fix online that basically talks about if you take off the platter and you align the little spindle in the middle here into the correct position with the gear next to it, that should fix the problem. And indeed it will, so long as the mechanism to that is still intact. However, in my case it wasn't, so I'll just sort of go through what I discovered with it. So first of all, take the belt and the platter off, just lips. Also, I'm working on my kitchen, so if you see all sorts of oranges and stuff in the background, I apologise. Right, so the solution online said that so long as this little bit of metal here was on the this side of the little spindle in the middle, that would fix your problem. However, if the connection that makes this little bit of metal latch onto the spindle, which then drives the return, if that is not working, which is the problem I had, then it doesn't matter where that is. So what drives that little bit of metal to then push into the spindle is actually this bit of plastic here. So as the tone arm gradually moves towards the center of the record, this little bit of metal here gradually moves inwards until it pushes. And then as this constantly spins, it then catches that, and your record then returns, and then it auto stops. So the connection for this is on the underside, which you'll have to take the back off. On these older record players, I didn't care about trying to hide screws or anything like that, so it's not too much of a task. Right, I'll try and put my phone somewhere that I'll be able to capture this for you. So this is the underside of my turntable, and that bit of black plastic here is what pushes against the that little bit of metal onto the spindle that then initiates the return mechanism. And the white bit of plastic down here is what pushes onto it. So what I found is that this bit of plastic here wasn't coming into contact with the back of the black plastic to push it inwards. On the bottom of so this is the bit of metal that comes down from the tone arm, and on the bottom of that you see a little Phillips head screw. That seems to be a bit of a friction nut, and so either it gets sort of out of place over time, or in my case I think somebody might have been in here dicking around with it once before, and my bit of white plastic was actually 180 degrees in the wrong direction. So how to tell it's in the right place? Well, first of all, that sort of mushroom looking bit down there should be coming in contact with the start stop switch for the motor. So if you maneuvered that off, and you can just move it by your fingers, it's quite freely moving. Also make sure your tone arm is locked in place so that you're actually rotating this on the tone arm, you're not moving the tone arm around at the same time. So that's your little on off switch for your motor. So that should be covered by that little white bit of sort of mushroom looking plastic. And then what governs the stop is how close this is to the back of the plastic. So what you basically have to do is set that to both be on the switch at the bottom and also close enough to push on the bit of plastic. And then you're going to put the turntable flat, put a record on, and you're going to turn the turntable on at the wall and move that tone arm in towards the center until it auto stops. So if you start moving it towards the center and it auto stops before it gets to the end of your record, then that there is too close. You need to get it and you need to move it a little bit further away. If you do it again and the tone arm goes all the way past the final groove and doesn't auto stop until it almost gets to the center of the record, then you've got that too far away and you need to move it a little bit closer. Now, at the bottom of the plastic that sits on that switch, there's not a lot of range in there that you can choose from, so it's going to have to be somewhere between here and here. You just have to figure out exactly where it is, and that's it. So that worked for me. I hope that works for you guys.